very glad you have all come. I would like to request everyone to take your mobile phone out of your pocket or bag or wherever it is, turn it off or put it on mute. Please make sure that we aren't disturbed by any alarms or phone calls or pings or tweets or anything else like that. Thank you.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. We are on the third day to listen to Swami Sarvapriyananda about meditation. Hope you have benefited this last 2 days meditation instruction. I think some of you might have practiced a little bit. Did you? Good. That is the purpose of this special lecture series, talk series. So we'll hear the third part of the prayer and meditation. So Swami will speak. I don't want to take his time anymore. Thank you. Okay, so what is Surida?
Om Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness unto light, lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. So in the past 2 days, and today also, we are discussing a hymn composed by Adi Shankaracharya, prātaḥ smaraṇa stotra, the hymn to contemplation at dawn. Contemplation of what? Contemplation of non-duality. Of non-duality, the real nature of the self at dawn. The basic idea being is, as we wake up, as we make the transition from, say, a dream, hopefully a dream is helpful. We're going to transition from a dream to the waking state. At that moment is an opportune door to see the real nature of the self. Now don't mistake me, the real nature of the self is always available. Obviously, you are yourself right now. It's always there, it's right now. And we will see today. But especially at that time, what happens is when you make an actual experiential transition from a vivid dream and you wake up into the waking world, which is also vivid. I like calling the waking world industrial grade reality. It's industrial grade reality compared to dreams. Suddenly a whole world is replaced by another world. You were somewhere else, now you are sitting up on your bed. It was some time else, now it's morning or whatever, when you were woken up after a nap. You were with other people doing other things in a different body. It was a different experience altogether and felt quite real. And now this feels quite real. What has happened is our world of dreams, which appeared to me, the one awareness, to me the same awareness, a new world appears. And more importantly, in that world of dreams, I was the subject, I was the person experiencing stuff there. And in this world also, here I am a person experiencing this stuff. Both that dream world and the dreamer in that dream world. And this waking world and you, the person right now experiencing this waking world, both are appearing, playing around and disappearing in one ground of awareness, which you really are. This becomes clear. It becomes very vivid. Now it's as if we are talking theoretically, then it becomes a vivid experience. one moment, that door, if you walk through it, enlightenment. You realize what you are, always, choicelessly. It's always there. So let me chant the hymn and try and give you a free running translation once again. If somebody looks back in the recordings later on, they'll see the translations are different every day. But that's okay, because I'm doing it fresh every day. Yeah. All right. Prātaḥ smaraṇi hridhi saṅsphurad ātmatattvam saccid sukha swarupam paramahamsa gatim turiyam yat swapna jagara sushuptam aveiti nityam tad brahma nishkalamaham na ca bhuta sangha Prātar bhajami manasa vachasamagамyam vacho vibhanti nikhilaya danugrahena yanneti neti vachaner nigama vocho tam deva devam ajamachyutamahuragriyam Prātar namami tamasaf paramarkavarnam purnam sanatana padam purushottamakhyam yasmin nidam jagadashesha shesha murto rajvam bhujangamiva pratibhasitam vai. At dawn I contemplate, or I recollect, the real nature of myself shining in my heart. Shining in the heart. This is existence, consciousness, bliss. The real nature is existence, consciousness, bliss. And it is that which is realized by the Paramahamsas. It is the fourth. Why the fourth? Because it is that which recognizes the waker and which is illumines and gives the reality to the waker and the waking world, the dreamer and the dream world, and the deep sleeper and the deep sleep blankness. 1, 2, 3, and therefore it is called the fourth. Your real nature, you are the fourth, counting that way. That impartite, partless Brahman I am, not a bundle of matter. That's the first verse. The second verse is, at dawn I worship or adore my reality, my real self, which is beyond language, beyond thought, but because of my real nature as consciousness, all language operates. Right? Language is able to operate and, in fact, reveal the entire world. It expresses itself in the world. Because it is beyond language and beyond thought, even the Vedanta, the Upanishadic texts, refers to the Atman, to me, to my real nature, as not this, not this. But that, it's not negative. Positively, if you put it, it is the God of gods. Your real nature is the God of gods. It is without origin, never deviating from its non-dual nature, and even when you're thinking, you're experiencing the world, suffering, birth, death, at no point have you deviated from your non-dual nature, achyutam. And it is the first, the primary. And the last verse is, at dawn I salute the radiance beyond all darkness, tamasah paramarkavarnam, purnam, the complete, the infinite, the limitless, sanatana padam, the eternal state or the internal reality, which is called the supreme reality, purushottamakyam. In which, what about this world? In which this entire world of all forms, living, non-living, whatever you experience, including your own body, all of it appears in that radiance. It appears in that radiance like a snake seen in a rope. By mistake, you mistake the rope for the snake. And therefore we mistake that radiance, which is our real nature, which we are, we mistake it for this world. We mistake it for this world. Suppose somebody is enlightened, then what would happen? If you're enlightened and you open your eyes, would you not see? Well, as long as you have a body and eyes and mind, and you have eyes, you will see the world. If you have ears, you will hear sounds, and so on. So all the experience of the world will continue without a break. But Before enlightenment, we thought, okay, I'm this guy, this person, this body with a bundle of thoughts, feelings, emotions, a personality, and a body, and I'm experiencing a material world out there of people, animals, plants, living and non-living things, big and small. But now, I will realize that one radiance which I am, tamasah paramarka varnam, like a blazing sun. I found this same statement in Vedanta and in Buddhism. The nature of the ultimate reality says it is of the nature, it is like the heart of the sun. It's a literal Sanskrit, the translation of the Sanskrit Aditya Hridayam. That's a hymn. But literally, if you see, it's Aditya Hridayam means heart of the sun. It's blazing forth with limitless light and radiance. And that itself is being seen as this. I remember once, so there are grades of non-dualist monks. The non-dualists themselves seem very radical. Brahman alone is real, the world is an appearance, and you are none other than Brahman. But there are grades of them. There are more and more radical ones. So the most radical non-dualists are called the Ajatavadis, who say that this world, there's no world. So in one of our Prabuddha Bharat articles, it came out, there was an interview with such a monk. And they asked him, so there's no world? And he says, no. Then what's all this? And he looked with wonder all around and, I'll tell you in Hindi and then translate. Oh, yeah, this. Ye to Brahma ki lapahat hai. This is the blazing flame of Brahman, the flickering, wavering flame of Brahman. This is the radiance of Brahman. And he means it. Anyway. All right. So today we are going to try to see this. Also, one more point. Some people must have thought when you listened to yesterday's talk and the one talk before, all that theory of language and epistemology and metaphysics, does this guy really wake up at dawn and think of all that stuff? That it is beyond language because language functions in this way and there are 5 strategies for overcoming the problem of not being expressible. No. I don't think of any of that. I just chanted very mechanically because it's become a habit. I don't even have to remember to chant it. It starts by itself because it's just a habit. But it draws my attention to something which I will talk about today. Okay, here goes. What does it draw our attention to? It draws our attention to my own existence, which is indubitable and radiant. 3 things I've said. Own existence, indubitable, radiant, and the 4th one, limitless. Your own existence, which is indubitable, radiant, limitless. Existence, indubitable, means absolutely certain. Indubitable means absolutely certain. Radiant and limitless. Let's see how. We will understand it philosophically, logically, and also see it for ourselves, hopefully, experientially. Right? Someone might think, is this the right time for this? Dawn, it's not dawn. Remember, it has nothing to do with dawn. It's available all the time. It's available all the time. It's available right here. And if I keep saying it's available right here, somebody should challenge me. Show us. If it's available right here, show us. Well, I will. Let's see. Not me, Shankaracharya does. Tamasah paramarka varnam, shining forth like the sun beyond all darkness. All right, let's start first. My own existence. We all know that we exist. We exist. I am. Right now when I'm talking to you, I am. When you're listening to me, you exist. I am. If I ask you, do you exist? What would you say? Yes. Yeah. Some of them are not convinced. They lack a little bit of conviction in their own existence. You said, yes, Swami, we exist. Yes, Swami, we exist. I exist. At least I don't know about, we can't say we exist, but at least I exist. I don't know, you might be a part of my dream. But I exist. I'm quite sure of it. And all of you can say that, I exist. And this existence is always there. When you are listening to me, you can clearly say, I exist. If I ask you, you can clearly say, I exist. If you think about it, you'll clearly say, I exist. If you don't think about it, you won't say, I exist. But if you later if you consider at that time when I was not thinking about it, did I exist or not? Yeah, sure, I existed. There's no doubt about it. When you are happy, suppose there are happy thoughts, I am. And then I say, I'm happy. Unhappy, I am. And then I'll say, I'm unhappy. When I'm talking or reading, I am, and then I'm talking or reading. When I'm sitting quietly and doing nothing, I still am, and sitting quietly and doing nothing. Miserable, happy, unhappy, active, inactive, I am. Physically active, physically inactive, I am. Mentally active, mentally inactive, thinking lots of thoughts, restless mind, I am. And mind is peaceful, meditative, prayerful, I am. Waking world all the time, whether we think about it or not, I am. Dream world, in our dream experiences, we may not at all reflect about it. Maybe you might now, after all these classes, you might be a little traumatized and it might come in your dream. The Swami is yelling at me that you exist. And you will be, if you notice, yeah, in my dreams also we would acknowledge, I am. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Even if we don't acknowledge it, I am. When you acknowledge it, I am. When I do not acknowledge it, I am. And in deep sleep also I am. I just can't reflect upon it and I cannot think about it or express it. But when I wake up and I reflect back upon it, I am. If I am not in my deep sleep, then it means every time I wake up, I am created anew. In some state, in some form, I was there. In a seed form, I was there in the deep sleep. Descartes famously said, "Cogito ergo sum," I think, therefore I am. So in a philosophy class in Emerson at Harvard, I asked the professor, so when Descartes fell asleep and he did not think, so was he not existing? And every time he woke up, did he think he came into existence afresh? No, because that's not really what he meant. He meant that he exists. There's no doubt about it. And the thinking proves it, that he exists. So I am is indubitable. It's there. I exist. Not only do I exist. This is step one. Step two. My existence is indubitable. Do you see the difference between existence and the fact that it is certain? I have no doubt about it. They're two different things. I can exist and I can doubt it. I exist, everybody affirms it. And second, we will also affirm, I have no doubt about it. Descartes, the French philosopher and mathematician, he started his project of doubting whatever could be doubted. This world, which seems to be absolutely real, I can see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it, can be doubted. It could be a dream. It could be a virtual world. It could be we're living in the matrix. I mean, Vedanta would agree, actually, you are living in the matrix. It could be, like Descartes said, an evil demon projecting all sorts of sensory inputs directly to me. So I think I'm living in this world. But maybe that there is no such world. Maybe this body is also not there. Maybe you're all not there. It could be a dream. It can be doubted. But the one thing he could not doubt, the ground of all doubt, is the indubitable sense of I am. That he could not doubt. Why not? Because even to doubt it, the doubter has to be there. To think, do I exist or do I not exist? The thought was there, so I exist. That immediately proves that I exist, a thinker of a thought, or the thought itself exists at least. So I am because, come on in, yeah. So my own existence is a certain existence beyond any possible doubt. Shankaracharya, he says 700-800 years before Descartes, Yaeva tasya nirakarta tasyeva atmasa. Whoever is the doubter of the self, it's the self of the very doubter. The one who denies the self is the self of the very one who denies it. To deny it, you must exist. So it's absolutely certain that I exist, we know that, and this knowledge is certain. The knowledge of my own existence is certain. My existence is there, and it's a certain existence. And it's also interesting that Descartes, very poignantly, he writes in his meditations that how passing strange is it that what I know so well, I know so much about it. Science, religion, philosophy, this world, economics, whatever it is, he was a polymath. He knew so many things. What I know so well, I can never be sure of it. It's always open to doubt. And the one thing that I'm absolutely sure of, I know nothing about it. What am I absolutely sure of? My own existence. But I know nothing about it. And see, that's where Descartes stops. And he comes back into the world again. Because Descartes' project was not to investigation of the self. His project was to find some kind of absolutely indisputable ground upon which to base knowledge. What knowledge? Any knowledge. So he found the ground that my own existence. I exist, and this is an absolutely certain existence. And then you build up from there about the world, about God, about science and body and all of that, society. He builds up, he comes back. But what he does not do is stay back and investigate the self. He just notices. He is a very sharp cookie. He notices that I don't know anything about this self, which I'm certain about. But Vedanta does not stop there. It keeps on that journey. It keeps on investigating the self. What does it find? The third thing which we are going to look at, what Vedanta finds, is this tamasah paramarka varnam, radiant like the sun, luminous. All right, follow this carefully. I am one. And I know for certain that I exist. Two. Beyond any doubt. Three, this question, how do I know? We never think of this question. But how do I know that I exist? See, I exist. Second, I know that I exist. I know that I exist. And this knowledge is absolutely certain. But now I'm asking the question, how do you know? If you say, I know the Swami is sitting on the stage. I can ask you the question, how do you know the Swami is sitting on the stage? And you can immediately answer, I see him. I've used an instrument of knowledge called the eyes to see the Swami. How does knowledge work? When you ask a question, how do you know? Know what? Know anything. How do you know God exists? How do you know we exist? How do you know? So, how do you know that I exist? That you yourself, your own existence. You said, I exist. All of you said it. I'm holding you to it. Second, we also agree that the knowledge of my existence is absolutely certain. Like Descartes says, I can doubt anything. We can discuss anything, but nobody doubts one's own existence. So there is knowledge of my own existence, a certain knowledge of my own existence. Now I'm asking a question, how do you know? How do you know that you exist? Let me walk us through epistemology. That's a branch of philosophy which answers the question, how do you know? How do you know anything? Knowledge. How does knowledge come? So knowledge comes in this way. All knowledge requires a knower, a knowable, and a method of knowledge, an instrument of knowledge. Again, a knower. You are the knower. In Sanskrit, pramata, the knower. And a knowable. This piece of cloth. This piece of cloth is a knowable. You know this. It's called prameya, the object of knowledge. And then the question, how do you know? Pramana. Pramana means the instrument of knowledge or the method of knowledge. Very important. You can't do any kind of philosophy or science without it. It's foundational. Or humanities, or any kind of knowledge system requires the system of knowledge. How do you know? So epistemology, pramana. How do I know? With my eyes. And of course, there's a light, and there's my mind, and my information that I know what a cloth is. All these things I know. But primarily, the instrument of visual perception, pratyaksha, visual perception. So pramana. Now, what do we have? To have any kind of knowledge, you have to have a knower, you have to have a knowable, whatever you know about. It could be a piece of cloth, it could be the existence of God or whatever. So prameya, and a way of knowing, some method of knowing. Could be the eyes, could be the ears. Right now you know what I'm saying with the ears. You know, you feel warm or cold with the skin. So we hear, smell, taste, touch. And then we read. There are many ways of, a lot of investigation in science, which all comes to us through textbooks and stuff. We know through books. We know through scientific investigation. So scientific investigation, inference, that's another method of knowledge. Authority is another method of knowledge. You might not think so. You said, why should I believe people? But mostly we do. Most of our information comes from authority. Textbooks, newspapers, chatbots. In India, there is one of the greatest authorities is nowadays called the WhatsApp University. So all of that is knowledge. It's coming to us. Pramana, a method of knowledge. And those methods, you can doubt them. Some of you may accept some, you may doubt some. Anyway, but there's a method of knowledge. So it requires these three. Now, what am I driving at? I know my own existence. My question was, how do you know? If we apply this, what we have got, the method of knowledge, there is a knower, a knowable, and a method of knowledge. The pramana, prameya, pramata. Pramata is a knower. Who knows my own existence? I know. So I am the knower. What do I know? Myself, my own existence. So I become the known, and I am the knower. And how do I know? There must be some method of knowledge. Somehow I know. I don't know exactly how I know, but somehow I know. But notice if you apply this, the problem, follow this carefully. The problem will immediately arise that if my own existence is the knowable, and I am the knower, then to exist, I must be known also. See, I know my own existence. And if I say I am the knower, by some method I know my own existence, that I which is the knower, the second I, that also must be known by some third I. It can't be an unknown, because I am saying my own existence is there and it's always known and for certainty. So whatever, first I or second I or third I, am I not being clear? So it's like this. Here is a knower, I, and I know something, this, with an instrument of knowledge. But if I am to know myself, then I must be a knower, and that I which is known, the first I becomes the known, and there must be some method of knowing this, something in between which knows this. But then this I, if it is an I, its existence is known. Because my own existence is known. Can I always ask, how did you know this? This second I? Well, for this you need a third I. Not the third eye here, but the third eye, which knows the second eye. But then this being an eye, this is also known, and known for certainty. How? You need a fourth one. You see where I'm going with this. This is called in philosophy, in logic, this is called the regressus ad infinitum, infinite regression. Yeah. In Sanskrit, it is called anavastha dosha, the fault of not having a ground. You don't come to a stop at any point. So this is a fault, logically. Not only that, epistemologically also it's a fault, because no knowledge would be possible then. I am the knower. Using instruments of knowledge, I know things to be known. But if my own existence is not proved first, there's an infinite regress behind me, then I cannot be the knower. First, my knower must be established, and the knower of that must be established first, and the knower of that must be established first, and each must be established before the next episode of knowledge takes place. That takes at least a split second. If you have an infinite regression of knowers, I, and go on to the infinite regression, and each takes at least a split second to know the next I, then you would have an eternity before any knowledge takes place. In fact, no knowledge would take place. I wouldn't be able to have this knowledge that I'm seeing an orange cloth. But I cannot deny that I am seeing this orange cloth. Therefore, my own existence, which is indubitable, and I know it for sure, I do not know it in the usual way of knower, known method of knowledge. That's not how I am knowing myself. That's not how you are knowing your own existence. Not by knower, knowable, method of knowledge. Pramana, pramata, prameya, pramana. Not by that method. Then there is only one other alternative. How do I know my own indubitable existence? Only other alternative is, it must be self-luminous. It must be known by itself. not as an object, not as a knower, knowable method of knowledge, but shining forth by itself. Like, for example, a good example is the light. Everything was in darkness here. Then the lights came on. And the light revealed everything here. Everything that was in darkness was illumined by that light. But to know that light, to illumine that light, you don't need another light. Now let's know the light, we need another light. No. In fact, you cannot illumine light. Why? If the definition of illumination is taking something from darkness into light. We chanted just now, take us from darkness to light. If you're taking something from darkness to light, is called illumination. Well, the light was never in darkness. Whenever the light is shining, it's never in darkness. It illumines everything else and it reveals itself. Our own, very, very important, our own existence must be like that. This self-luminosity of my own existence there's a term in Advaita Vedanta, very important term, called swaprakasha, self-luminous. How do you know that you exist? Not a how. It is self-luminous. It is ever evident. Not only that, like a light shining, it reveals itself, but it reveals everything else also. All that which is not luminous. You shine, you automatically, continuously, effortlessly are revealing yourself, but your light reveals everything else. It was shining and revealing the dreamer and the dream world. Everything that's happening in the dream. And then that dream world disappears and the dreamer disappears. Now the waker has come and the waking world has come. You, the same constant light, self-luminous. You are revealing that, now you're revealing this. You are ever evident, shining forth. This is called self-luminosity. This is the meaning of the term tamasah param markavarnam, the light beyond all darkness. That light is also not beyond darkness. That light. I'm going to put it in darkness right now. Look, I'm going to close my eyes. What light? I can't see it. I have to see it. So the eyes are the light of that light. And the light of the eyes is the mind. If I'm distracted, even if I'm looking at the light, I won't be seeing the light. So the mind is the light of the eyes. But I, the self-luminous, indubitable existence, I am the light of the mind. You are the light of the mind. You shining, how do you shine? Self-luminous. You shining, you reveal not only your own existence, but you illuminate the mind. You irradiate the mind with you, the consciousness. With your consciousness or you, the consciousness, with you, the light. And this mind now lit up. It's called a borrowed consciousness or reflected consciousness. This mind now illuminates all the senses. And the mind illuminating the senses is now able to see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And internally to think and feel and enjoy and suffer and desire, accept and reject, be worldly or spiritual, remember and forget, wake, dream and sleep. That's all mind. But the real nature of the mind is you. And what are you? Existence. No doubt about it. Indubitable existence, self-luminous indubitable existence. Existence first, indubitable existence, self-luminous indubitable existence. This was the philosophical part of it, and the logical, epistemological part of it. But now let's look at it experientially. The claim was, it's here. And you should say, Swami, show us. Show us. That's the problem with Advaita Vedanta. If I say, God is there, you can't ask where, because I'll say God is in heaven. That's why you don't see God. I'm safe. When is God? Not now, after death. Then I'm safe. And after death, if you don't see God, you can't catch me anymore. But if I say, this Atman is all the time and everywhere, it must be here and it must be now and it's you, then show me, why don't I realize this thing you're talking about? Immortal, radiant existence beyond sorrow. Show me. How am I immortal? How am I radiant? How am I beyond sorrow? Show me. How am I non-dual? How is the universe one with me? Show me. I'm happy to take up the challenge. Not me. I have Shankaracharya to help me. Yeah. So, here, let's take a look at my own existence, at your own existence, at yourself. Take a look at this first. this orange cloth. This is something that you see. I see this. And now attend to it. It is something that is seen, but is seen by the eyes. The eyes are the seer, the cloth is seen, the orange cloth is seen. And then I draw my attention from the orange cloth. Let's do it this way. Not only the orange cloth is seen, but the brown table is seen, and the red flower is seen, and the people are seen. The seen are many, but the seer is the same pair of eyes, the same eyes, the organ of vision. Same seer, many seen. Not only that, the seen keep changing. Here is an orange cloth. Here is my hand. And here is a microphone. You saw three things, one after another. Cloth, hand, microphone. Three things. The scene changed, but the same seer. Unchanging seer, changing scene. The scene are changing. Seer is one, the scene are many. And the seer and the scene are different. You see, your eyes which saw this is different from the cloth. Your eyes which saw this is different from the hand. Your eyes which saw the microphone is different from the microphone. So the seer and the seen are different. In fact, the only thing that the eyes cannot see are the eyes themselves. That's an important distinction to make. The seen, what you see, the eyes, what they see, they have to be different from themselves. Right? So you cannot see, the eyes cannot see themselves. Now from the orange cloth, let me draw my attention back. You follow this experientially, right? This is not theoretical. We are experiencing it. Draw your attention back to the eyes. I'm aware of the eyes. The eyes are now the seen. What is seeing the eyes? The mind. I'm using the mind to contemplate the eyes. My eyes are open. Blink the eyes. The mind noticed. The eyes blinked. The mind notices. The eyes have got 20/20 vision. They used to have. Now I need glasses. The mind notices. The mind is the seer. The eyes are the seen. And again, the mind and the eyes are different. Seer and seen are different. And not only that, the senses are many. The eyes and the ears and the skin and the tongue and all of that, nose, all of that. They are different senses. Same mind can experience, gets the information from all of them. And they are all changing. And the mind is also changing, but mind into mind. So the mind, the seer is one, the seen are many. The seer and the seen are different. The seen are changing. The seer is not changing, relatively speaking. And now if you close your eyes and look inwards means notice the mind, the activity of the mind. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, ideas, memories, desires, even the sense of I, ego. All of these are the contents of the mind. In fact, this is the mind. And notice, I am aware of the mind. That's what's called introspection. I can look into the contents of the mind. I am aware of the mind. If I am aware of the mind, then the mind is the seen, and I am the seer. And seer and seen are same or different? Different. You, the seer of the mind, have to be different from the mind. By principle. You are not the mind. You are the seer of the mind, and you are not the mind. You are different from the mind. And the mind is continuously changing, and all of it, from happiness to misery, same you will claim that I am happy, I am miserable. You did not change. The mind changed from happiness to misery. I am alert, I am sleepy. The mind changed from alertness to sleepiness. I did not change. The mind changed from waking to dreaming to deep sleep, and again to dreaming and waking again. I did not change. I am the seer of the mind, continuously changing. So I am unchanging, the seer of the mind am unchanging, and the mind is continuously changing. And the contents of the mind are many, many, many. So many thoughts, feelings, emotions. Somebody said in a day, waking day, we have 16,000 discrete thoughts, feelings, emotions, contents of the mind, chitta vritti. But the seer of all of them is one, you. Seer is unchanging, the seen are changing. Seer is one, the seen are many, and the seer and the seen are different. You, the witness of the mind, you, the seer of the mind, are you, this one consciousness, the one existence whose existence is indubitable, and it must be luminous consciousness, self-luminosity. To you, the one indubitable self-luminosity appears the mind, and through that the senses, and through that this world. Try it right now. Look at the cloth. Notice, seen, my eyes are the seer. Just draw your attention back from the cloth to the eyes. Then let go of the external world. Close the eyes. Contemplate the eyes and the body with the mind. Then contemplate the mind. Take a look at the mind with you, yourself, you, the consciousness. Notice the mind and the senses and the world are all objects. They appear to you. They are all seen. But you, the real seer, you are never an object to yourself. I'll repeat that. I can repeat that ad nauseum. You are not an object. Do not try to see yourself. Whatever you see will be a thought, or an absence of a thought, or a perception, or something physical externally. But you are never seen by yourself. But you are there because all seeing is going on. The proof of your own existence is that all of the seeing is going on. All right, gently open your eyes. Now let me ask you a series of questions. This cloth, you all see the cloth?
Yes.
Yeah. You exist, right?
Yes.
And you're sure about it?
Yes.
And you know your own existence how? You just have to say self-luminous. Self-luminous, yes. Now, if I drop this cloth is no longer there. Are you still there?
Yes.
Indubitably?
Yes.
Self-luminous? Yes, I see so many shining faces. You're all very luminous. All right. Now close your eyes. Let's close our eyes. And I notice now I don't see anything. I can't see anything. I've closed my eyes. You can say at most, in one sense, I see blankness or darkness. So I don't see anything. You also don't see anything if you have closed your eyes. Now let me ask you, are you still there?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Self-luminous?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Now just imagine, if you're not only seeing, you're not seeing anything, but if you are not, you have a neutral sensation of neither warm nor cold, you are not hearing anything, you're not smelling anything, all the senses, sensory deprivation tank, you're not sensing anything, no sensations at all. Are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah, you would still be there. Surely there?
Yes.
And self-luminous?
Yes.
Okay. Now suppose all thoughts cease. All memories cease. You don't even know your own name. You don't know where you are. You have no thoughts, no memories, no desires, no regrets, no expectations. You're not looking forward to anything at all. So all mental activity, intellectual activity, emotional activity ceases into a dead silence. Are you still there?
Yes.
Sure. Self-luminous?
Yes.
Okay, now gently open your eyes. Now I'm going to ask you a devastating question. Suppose, it's not possible, but just suppose for a thought experiment, that radiance of self-luminosity, indubitable existence, suppose that were not there. Suppose that were not there. Then, would any of this experience be possible? Would it be possible to see, hear, smell, taste, touch? Huh? Without that radiance, without you? No. Would it be possible to remember, forget? Would it be possible to enjoy or suffer? Nothing. Would it be possible to be worldly or spiritual? No. The entire world experience would disappear into a void in an instant if that point of radiance were not there. That indubitable, self-luminous existence. If it were not there, suppose, then the universe would disappear. Universe would disappear in an instant. This is called the Jagat Andhya Prasanga, the possibility, the possibility of the darkness of the universe. The universe would disappear into darkness. The experience of life itself would disappear in an instant if that were not there. Now put these together. You exist even if the world is not experienced. If you do not see, hear, smell, taste, touch, you surely exist and you shine. You exist, you surely exist, and you are a self-shining existence. If the mind also stops, thinking, intellect, understanding, memory fails, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, absolutely nothing is coming forth, you still exist. That point of indubitable self-luminous radiance. Tamasah paramarka varnam. You exist. But if that one did not exist, none of these would exist. And it's an experience right now. And it is something that I've tried. I've thought in many ways and gone through many kinds of ancient, modern, Western, psychological, scientific, materialistic perspectives, Hindu, Buddhist, Kashmiri Shaiva perspective, multiple perspectives. You can't crack open this conclusion. This is inescapable. This is stunning and inescapable. And it's you. This is the radiance beyond darkness. What is called the heart of the sun. It's like the heart of the sun. What's like the heart of the sun? You. You, that light, not theoretically, experientially. Now notice, you shining, your mind shines. Your mind shining, your senses shine. In your mind and senses shining, the world shines for you. Shines means revealed to you, experienced. You are the light by which all of this is lit up. You shining, everything else shines after you. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. The Upanishad, Kathopanishad and Mundukopanishad say, that shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything here is lit up. What is that? You. Which you? We have all discovered it. Don't take it back. It is that existence, indubitable existence, self-shining existence. That is the light of lights. And that is you. You shining, everything here is lit up by your light. Everything here shines by your light. Everything here is lit up. Now question. Just a little footnote. So we are so many. Are there so many indubitable self-shining lights, or is there one? Krishna says, I will not go into the arguments for that. That will take a little bit of subtle argumentation. This is the difference between Sankhya and Advaita Vedanta. Krishna says, Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am that one indubitable flickering point of light in all living beings. I am the one knower in all knowables, in all knowing beings. I am the one consciousness in all living beings. I am the one knower of the field in all fields. I means you. Swami, who? Me or my neighbor or who? No, we are that one consciousness, all of us, shining in through this mind, I become Sarvapriyananda. Shining through that mind, I become Swami. Through that mind, I myself become him or her, or all living, all sentient beings who have ever lived and who are alive now and who will live in future. I am the one light shining through all of them. Are you with me? Yes. Kind of cool. Okay, it gets cooler. What's going to happen now is dramatic. All right, so I am the light which shines and reveals everything. I make all experience possible. Without me, the universe would disappear into darkness. Great, cool, wonderful. And I'm somehow one in all of these beings. That's also great. Now the next part is stunning. All right, so, but I, the one consciousness, all right, maybe I'm one consciousness, one light in all beings, in all minds, in all beings. But I am experiencing things, right? Things appear to me. Thoughts appear to me. My senses, sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch, problems, war and famine and ecological change and annoying neighbor and parking problems. All of that appear to me. Things and people and events and situations in my own thoughts and desires in every mind. They all appear to me. Here is the crucial question. What is the relationship between you, that one existence, certain existence, self-luminous existence, and what appears to you. What's the relationship between the subject and the object? What's the relationship between you and everything else? What do I mean by that? I'm asking, are they different from you? Do they sort of exist and you come to know them? Or are they in some way you? Are they an appearance? Do they exist separately from me? Is it that the world is there and then that unflickering point of light comes and illumines everything? Like this hall, it's there. Then you switch on the light and the light reveals what's there. The light didn't create the benches, light didn't become the human beings, light did not become this temple. It was already there. If you switch off the light, it will still be there. Switch on the light, it will illumine everything. The light is different from all these objects. Is it like that? We are going to let go of that light and object metaphor now. Or is it like all of this is somehow me, the light? You know where I'm going with this, but let's see, the journey itself is interesting. Look at it experientially. There's a philosophical way of arguing this, and there is an experiential way, which is very thrilling way of demonstrating this. So, here is an orange cloth. Again, we're back to the orange cloth. Is it outside you, the consciousness, and you fall on it like this light and illumine it, and then you know, okay, I see this orange cloth, which is not me, I am seeing it. Is it like that? Or is it in you, the awareness? What I'm asking you is the orange cloth in your conscious experience? Or is it outside your conscious experience and then you are conscious of it? If you say this cloth exists outside, look at it experientially, right now when we are experiencing. Is there any information in our experience to suggest that there is an orange cloth outside my experience somehow? This orange cloth is there? There wouldn't be, because if there was, follow this, if there was anything in my experience to suggest that there is an orange cloth outside my experience, that would still be in my experience. Let me repeat that. Some of you got it. It's quite simple, but stunning. What's the common sense view? This exists whether I experience it or not. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't see it. Even when I'm not seeing it, it exists. Swami, it exists, we know it, you don't see it. It's still there. I'm not seeing it. So I should say, though, it's existing independent of my experience. No. A more subtle thing would be, it exists in my experience as the unknown, and now it exists as the known. I become the knower, I use an instrument of knowledge called eyes and make this the known. Now it's beyond my knowledge, but it exists as the unknown for me. There's a vast homogeneous mass of the unknown, it exists like that. And once in a while, things from that unknown come into the range of my knowledge. But in both cases, as known and unknown, it exists in your awareness. I'll give you two examples to prove my point. One example is the dream example. In our dreams, what happens? You suppose you're having a cup of tea with a friend in a dream. It's not really happening, but it's in a dream. You're sitting there having a cup of tea. What's your feeling? I can see my friend, I can see the tea, I can even taste the tea and feel its warmth and flavor. And I also have a general sense of a world outside, which I'm not seeing. In a dream also, you have a sense you're inhabiting a world which is there, which is unseen all around you. You have a feeling like that. You don't feel in a dream that, of course, I'm in a dream. How can there be a world outside? Only whatever I'm seeing exists. That thing doesn't exist, this thing doesn't exist. Only when I see it exists. You don't have a drishti shrishti vada feeling in the dream. No. You just feel it's a common sense world, just like this waking world. Yet when you wake up, whatever was seen in the dream and whatever remained unseen as like a vague unknown presence in the dream, all of it was projected by your dreaming mind. True or not? Every entity in your dream is a projection of your dreaming mind. Some of it was, quote unquote, known by you, seen by you, thought by you, interacted with by you, and the rest of it was in a vague, homogeneous background. But the whole thing was in your dream. Example one. Second example is our senior-most member in the Vedanta Society in New York, Bill Conrad. So this is a thing I mentioned earlier. He said, no, Swami, he's a materialist. So curious mixture of Vedanta and materialism. So he says, no, Swami, the world exists. And then you come to see the world is not in your consciousness or in my consciousness. It's a common sense view. So the world is there, and then we come to see it. Proof, I'll prove it to you, Swami. We'll set up a camera, it'll take pictures of the room, both of us will leave the room, and there'll be an empty room, and the camera will take pictures. When I come back, I will show you the pictures of the camera, that the empty room existed without any conscious beings. I and you, we had left the room. There was an empty room. The camera took pictures. It exists without you, without me. I said, Bill, in your consciousness, you devised this experiment. In your consciousness, you know where I'm going with this. You told me and told yourself, we're going to go out of this room, Swami. And in your consciousness, we both went out of the room. In your consciousness, we came back into the room. In your consciousness, you opened the pictures in the camera. And in your consciousness, you saw the empty room displayed by the pictures in your camera. At which point, Bill, did you step out of your consciousness? No point. Make the distinction between knower and the known and unknown, and the background consciousness. It will explain. Things will be explained quite easily. It's not so difficult. Take the Bill example and the dream example. Yes. Now, what I'm trying to say is, right now also, if you identify with the body, this cloth is definitely outside your body. It's outside your body. They have identify yourself with conscious experience. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, then this cloth is within your conscious experience. It's not outside. It cannot be. Where is the limit of your conscious experience, and outside which limit the cloth existed? No limit. Show me the limit of your conscious experience. You cannot. You say, Swami, look at that. That wall is the limit of my conscious experience. Beyond that, I can't see. Yes, but beyond that, it exists as the unseen world in your consciousness. And it can become seen if you walk outside. There is no limit, no border. It's the borderless, limitless awareness. Which one? You. The one which we discovered. Exist. Indubitably exist. Self-shining existence. It's borderless. The luminosity is without border, without margin. One Swami said, no, Swami, it can't be. I am here and you are there. How can it be borderless, all-pervasive consciousness? And the answer was beautiful. But here and there, are these both not in consciousness? Space is in consciousness. Time is in consciousness. Which consciousness? You, the existence, the indubitable existence, the self-shining existence. All space, all time, and all the objects, desha kala vastu, are appearances in your conscious experience. Maybe known, maybe unknown. I'm not saying they're known. There might be a rock in some corner of some planet in the far cosmos which we don't know. We haven't seen, we haven't even thought about it. But it exists as the unknown. Where? In your conscious experience of the universe. In you, the consciousness. This is a very radically different way of looking at it. So it exists in you. But how does it exist in you? Does it exist in you in the sense, if you take a bowl and put a bunch of cherries and nuts in it, so your consciousness is like a bowl and the universe is like something exists in the bowl of your consciousness? Or does it exist like the table in this wood? It is the wood alone which is appearing as the table. It is the water alone appearing as the wave. It is the gold alone appearing as the ornament. And the argument here, there's no time to go through these arguments, they're very subtle but good arguments to show that you, the consciousness alone, by some miracle, by the power of Maya, take it that way, you are appearing as your own universe, as the known, as the unknown, just as a dream, what happens in a dream. What are you? Tamasah paramarka varnam, the radiance beyond all darkness, which is indubitable, which is self-luminous, but which is also infinite. How it is infinite? Because whatever it experiences is not a limit to you. Everything, everybody, every thought, every feeling, every memory, these are not limits to you. They are not outside you. They are inside you, the awareness, and they are nothing but the you, the awareness. They do not constitute a countably second entity apart from you, the awareness. Professor Arindam Chakravarti gave a very nice definition. Here's a way with words. Definition of object. An object is anything that objects to my awareness. You're aware, right? Here is something that's objecting to your awareness, because your awareness comes and runs up against this. And this seems to be other than your awareness. It's separate from you. It's obstructing you. And you have an experience. I see an orange cloth. So it's an objecting to your awareness. Now Advaita Vedanta says that which objects to your awareness is in your awareness. And how is it apart from your awareness? No, it's not apart from your awareness. If it is not apart from your awareness, then it's something that is appearing in your awareness, a radiance, in you the radiance, this is appearing. Rajvang bhujangam iva pratibhasitam vai. In you the radiance, like the snake appearing in the rope, the universe appears in you the radiance. What's the rope here? You. Which you? The in existence. Indubitable existence, self-luminous existence. In you, the universe is appearing. Universe is appearing means it's the rope which appears as the snake. It is you who are appearing as this universe. Every person in it. Every object in it. Every creature known and unknown in it. Every non-living, so-called non-living thing in it. It's you. You are appearing as your own universe. It's not a countable second apart from you. If it is not a countable second apart from you, not two. In Sanskrit, Advaitam, non-dual. They are not many. They are all, if you take a stand as awareness, all of these are in you, not apart from you. So none of them are a second entity apart from you. Advaitam, non-dual, not two. You are not two. The universe is you. You are not the universe. You are, what are you? Existence, indubitable, self-shining, luminous. And then appears the mind and body, all in you. Nothing but you, the existence, luminosity. And this limitless existence, limitless luminosity is you. And in this appears everything. Why is it limitless? Because nothing here constitutes a limit to you. Since you are this limitless existence, luminosity, the Buddhists have a very nice name for it. They call it the self-shining emptiness. Think of yourself as an endless sky, but it's a shining sky. So it's not a dark sky, it's a shining sky. And in which everything appears, but they all appear and disappear in that sky. They're nothing but that sky. They are you. If they are not other than you, then they do not constitute a second reality apart from you. They are not, you are non-dual. There's nothing, no second thing apart from you. If you're non-dual, everything is you, but you are independent of everything. This is called Purnam, complete, full. There is nothing here you can reject. They are all you, literally you. Purnam, Sanatana Padam. This is, can this, now I'll tell you, you've got four things. Exist, indubitably exist, self-shining existence, limitless existence. The limitless part is a little difficult. It's like a bomb, a bombshell. Swami Ranganathanji used to call it Vedantic thought bombs. It's stunning. That move from awareness, which Sankhya would agree with, into the non-duality. That oneness. Because until that point, it's not Advaita. It's only when you everything becomes one with you. Advaita is oneness. It's not separation. Even if I say I'm a point of indubitable self-shining luminosity, well, good for you. But you are different from everything else. Everything is separate from you. That is Sankhya, consciousness and matter. But the matter is when it's absorbed back into consciousness, does not constitute a second, does not object to your awareness. The objects are nothing but the subject appearing to itself. The whole of universe, samsara, is a magical display in you, the limitless sky of awareness, Chidakasha. The moment you recognize that, the whole magical display of samsara becomes the magical display of nirvana. Same thing here. And you're still there. That person, that body, that mind, now only you'll be called a Jivan Mukta, an enlightened being free in this world. Purnam Sanatana Padam. This is called the highest reality. Purushottamakyam. Who is the highest reality? You. But that you. Which you? Existence. Indubitable. Self-luminous. And infinite. Limitless. No second reality apart from you. With the universe shining in you like a rope, like a snake shines in a rope. Yasminidam jagat ashesha shesha murto. All the innumerable forms of the universe, they shine in you just like a rope appears by mistake, error to be a snake. That Brahman I am. Tad Brahma aham nishkalam. Nacha bhuta sangaha. Not a collection of atoms and protons and all. So this is the contemplation of Brahman at dawn. Contemplation of my real nature at dawn. It can be done any time. It's always continuously available to you. Look back upon it, take a look. One sadhu put it nicely in Hindi. Those who understand Hindi will understand the rural flavor of that Hindi. He says, Ek baar dekh to lo, in Hindi, dekh to lo, vastu kaisi hai. Take a look at what the reality is. Take a look at how the reality is. Reality means you. Take a look at that. Good. Let me do a peace chant and we'll take a few questions. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Yes. Yes, but in microphone. Tell us your name and ask the question. And we should give a chance to those who have not asked questions the last 2 days.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. I wish we had a reset button. We could have started from day one. But Maharaj, my question is, avatars show us, and teachers and scriptures, they teach us that the highest experience of oneness, which you have discussed, while in the state of samadhi, is indescribable or inexplicable, like you also say ineffable. And whoever genuinely experiences it, for him or her, it becomes a divine magnet. It's just. So then if the experience is so alluring for seekers and students, shouldn't being in it be an incentive to be reborn again and again, as opposed to what we always hear from teachings, we'll be free from birth and death.
Sure.
Even if we attain it, I'm willing to go through all the pains and miseries because I can taste it when I come back with the grace of God, divine
When
grace.
you attain it, when you will realize that you never were born. Ajam achyutam ahuragrayam. The second verse, the last line of the second verse says, without origin. Were you born? What was born? A body was born and existed for some time.
Yeah.
In my the darkness of delusion, it seemed to me I was that body. But now I realize at no point I was that body. That indubitable existence, self-luminous and limitless, was always there. So nothing has really happened. It's without origin. Nothing has to come to an end. You say that why should I become that? Why not continue being born again and experience this bliss? Fine, you will experience this bliss. No problem at all. There's no problem at all. You are that bliss.
Yes.
Yes. What you're asking is, my beautiful face is so wonderful. Shouldn't I always look at a mirror? Sri Ramakrishna says this in the Gospel.
Yeah.
He says, if I look at Ashite Sharakkon Mukh Dikhle Loke Pagol Bhabbe. People will think I'm mad if I look at them. What was the context? You'll find there's a jump there. He's saying something which does not seem directly related to the context before and after that. If I always look at my face in the mirror, people will think I'm mad. You don't have to be mad. We don't always look at the face in the mirror. If the mirror, good, I enjoy my beautiful face. But if there's no mirror, I'm fine, because I know the face is there even if I don't experience it in a mirror. Yeah. Yes, tell us your name and ask the question.
Hi, I'm Juliet.
Yes.
I think first it's funny, I had to move from New York to LA to discover you who lives in New York. Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm so on board with everything you say. Like the oneness, I feel it in the bhakti, the logical mind, so soothed by the Vedanta. But I guess the logical mind still asks, but why? What's the point? Why does the oneness want to bother
Yeah.
being many. I haven't heard anything that resonates, I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Why does the oneness bother with all this? With all this? And the real answer to that would be, why not? Oneness, you are so wonderful. Why not have a blast with your being wonderful? And this is the blast that you're having. So there are many, many answers to this question. In Vedanta, one answer is Brahman, God of the universe, the God of religion, creates this universe for our purposes, the sentient beings who are trapped in samsara, so that we can evolve through lifetimes and realize our infinitude. That also, you might push it further. Yeah, but why at all? Yeah, why at all? Why bother? Somerset Maugham asked this question. The novelist, he says, after realizing all of this, that Vedanta says Brahman creates the universe, he writes, he's British, so he had a dry sense of humor. So he writes, I think Brahman could have left well enough alone, seeing that it has led to all of this. Now, there are two quick answers to this question. I'll give the deep answers, but I'll just throw them out there and think about it. First, Swami Vivekananda says this question itself is wrong. Why is this question wrong? Because when we ask a question, why does Brahman appear in these ways? Why did Brahman create the universe? Advaita will immediately say Brahman didn't create the universe, it's all an appearance, it's a magical display, like Swami said, magical display of samsara, nirvana, what. But then you can still ask, why is there a magical display? Why at all? Even if it's a display, that's nice, but why at all? Why is there a movie, even if it's just a movie? Now, here is a subtle point. When you ask a question, you're asking why. What are you doing when you're doing that? You are asking for a cause. Why did it rain? Or why is the grass wet? Because it rained. Sorry, it's not New York, it's Los Angeles. Because the sprinklers came on. Is the grass wet? Because the sprinklers came on. Why did the sprinklers come on? Because it was programmed in that way. So, why you're asking for a cause? You're seeing an effect and asking for a cause. You say, okay, so now space, time, and causation are Maya. When you ask for a cause, you have already accepted the whole logic narrative of causation, which means you have accepted cause and effect, which means you've already accepted manifestation. It's like asking space, time, and causation. It's like asking, so what's outside space? What's wrong with the question? The moment you say outside, it's a space word, outside, inside. You've already accepted the concept of space. It's like asking, what was there before time? You say before, then you've already accepted time. Before and after are time words. If you ask, why is there an appearance? You've already accepted Maya, which causes the appearance. Maya is causation. Time, space, and causation. That's one answer. And answer which satisfies me, I think. This is the answer, but I'm sharing with you. Vivekananda more or less gave exactly this answer. And the last, very more elegant and simple answer I can give you is, what other option does Brahman have? So not to appear as anything, just remain as pure consciousness, existence, consciousness, bliss. Well, it does that in Pralaya. When the cosmos is dissolved, there's no universe, no individual beings, everything merges back into Maya, so consciousness itself exists without any manifestation. That's one state. And the another state is the manifestation comes into this universe. So Brahman appears sometimes and sometimes does not appear. What else can poor Brahman do? Look at your own daily experience. Waking and dreaming are appearances. You are shining forth. You are shining forth in this way. Now, when you fall asleep and dream, you'll be shining forth in that way. When you go into deep sleep, you will not be shining forth as anything particular, just a blankness. So you are doing all. You are shining forth and not shining forth. What else could be there? Or logically, these are only two alternatives. The main thing is to know this and to know this non-duality of the self and be free in the midst of the shining forth. To be perfectly all right if the universe is there, and to be perfectly all right if the universe disappears. Perfectly all right. It's you. You're there absolutely unaffected if the universe exists and the universe disappears. That's the beauty of it. Then you can live very freely and happily no matter what the circumstance. Yeah.
Hi, Swami. My name is Theo, and I'm an actor. And over the past few years, as I've studied Vedanta and paid very close attention to my artistic process, I am convinced that an artistic process, as well as a spiritual philosophy such as Vedanta, can lead to the same place. And it is my belief, and I'm asking for confirmation, that the highest art has the transcendent in it, and that as the artist, it's our responsibility to access that and to bring it into the art that we create. Is that true?
Okay. First, Theo said, I'm convinced that art can take us to the spiritual realization. Both our spirituality and art can both take us to the same realization. You may not know it, but it's almost exactly the same words which Vivekananda said. Vivekananda said, Sister Nivedita writes in the introduction to the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, Vivekananda said to her that art, science, and religion, or spirituality, are three ways of attaining the same realization. But he said you need Advaita to understand this. Advaita, that's why you are getting that intuition. When you listen to all this, it takes you to that intuition. So you're right, fully confirmed. Second, that the highest art has an element of the transcendent. Absolutely. In fact, I read it somewhere. That's really the definition of the highest art. That's what makes art timeless, because there's an element, a drop of the transcendental there. Whether it's poetry or music or acting or whatever it is, there's a little bit of, if you can capture a little bit of the transcendent reflected, your art will become immortal. The third thing which I wanted to say to you was this display. Somebody told me, person in New York does drama at Broadway, or was in Juilliard School somewhere, and said, he used a beautiful term, I don't know from whom, a Western thinker, writer on aesthetics, the magical circle of enchantment. So I really loved that. He said, this is what is a play, or any art. It's a magical circle of enchantment, of mutually agreed to make believe. So it throws a circle of enchantment around you, and then we are sucked into it, and that is samsara. That is what we are, what we have. The difference between samsara and nirvana is this. Samsara is when we don't know it, then it's an awful reality. It's terrible. When you know it, it becomes art. Nirvana and art, the magical circle of enchantment, is the same thing. Yeah, good. I would suggest you speak with Swami. Do you know Swami Medhananda? You should speak with him. He's an expert on aesthetics, the philosophy of art, and of course spirituality. Yes.
Swami, thank you for these 3 sessions. They were so illuminating and really so engaging. I have a question, going back to your very first talk. You were talking about the different ways of reaching this ineffable, and that most religious traditions tend to be devotional, theistic, and it has, in a sense, a very easy access. But the one thing that you need before you can even start on the journey is faith. And if one doesn't have that, you cannot embark on that path. And therefore, in the Hindu tradition, the different darshanas going back to Sankhya, going back to Patanjali, and then the whole Nyaya tradition, Jnana Yoga with Ramana Maharshi, such a stellar figure, and so on. They try to show exactly what you pointed out. The triad that's necessary for any experience really needs a background, because otherwise the small eye shifts to the another eye, and the bigger eye, and it just regresses into infinity, going into like a perpetual void, everything dissolving, nothing makes sense. But doesn't it posit a leap of faith that you need a background to make this real?
Straight answer to your question, it doesn't. That's why I say, see, this is why it's all coming around to the first thing we started off with. Your own existence, does it need a leap of faith that I exist? No. You know it without any faith. You may not think about it, but it's effortless to notice your own existence. How much effort does it take? Nothing, it's effortless. How much time does it take? Instantaneous. And where will you notice your existence? Everywhere. When can you notice your existence? Every when. No faith is required.
And yet, there has to be a point where it stops, against which we see this triad then dissolve. It seems that Buddhism has always questioned this. You know, they do not talk of a background that is necessary. And constant change. It's a flux of change.
Yes.
And what we see as a glittering...
Come tomorrow to Santa Barbara. I'm going to talk about that.
Raj Malik, what happens in deep sleep and how to get deep sleep?
That's a practical question. I don't know really, but deep sleep is highly recommended by sleep therapists and doctors. I was listening to this gentleman who is a PhD and works for the National Health Authorities, and they're attending a conference on deep sleep. And it's remarkable, the benefits of deep sleep, and there's just more and more keeps coming out. They are now, neuroscientists are clear that the brain undergoes a detox in deep sleep. And it says it doesn't work, the detox doesn't work if you're awake or even dreaming. So you have to stop. Deep sleep is vital for our health, for our mental well-being, physical well-being, and lifespan, duration of life, quality of life. And then it deteriorates as we grow older. You sleep more, but it's light sleep and dream sleep, but not deep sleep. And that cuts into our physical health and cuts into our mental health and reduces our lifespan. So I'm telling you the benefits and all of that, but how you get deep sleep, I think you should consult a sleep therapist. Contemplate. Yeah, that's a good thing. Advaita can send you into deep sleep. If you listen to enough YouTube talks on Advaita, it will send you into deep sleep.
Any mantras?
Namaste, Swamiji. My name is Nirmala. So Advaita Vedanta talks about the waking world is not real, just like the dream world. But all the actions we commit during the waking world is what creates the actions, even though they're created by these upadhis, which are inert, body, mind, intellect. But the actions and the resultant karma phalas are permanent. And over different lifetimes, shatakoti janmas, we accumulate this big sanchita karma. This only happens during waking hours. So how is the waking world not real?
Okay. What is meant by not real here? Answer from your own experience. The waking world and this body, this personality, and the actions done by this personality, are they different from you, the existence, the indubitable existence, the self-shining existence? Are they different, or are they appearing in you?
Appearing in.
Appearing in you. If you were not there, would those things be there? Would this person be there? Would the actions be there? Would even this world be there for you? Would it be there? No. So they are all appearing in you. They do not exist apart from you. They don't exist separately from you.
True.
From you, that indubitable self-luminous. That means they do not constitute a second reality to you. They are appearing, no doubt about it. They are experienced, and the actions are being done. But they do not constitute a second, countable second. Apart, it's like waves in the water, in the ocean.
True.
So none of the waves, you may have 1,000 waves. If you see water, it's just water. You can multiply the waves, have 10,000. Did the waves increase? Did something increase? No, it's still water, the same water. Number of waves is more, but it's the same water. Similarly, it's the same you, which is now appearing as this person, and the thoughts, feelings, actions of this person, and the results of those actions of that person, and the suffering and joy created by the good and bad actions of that person, they're not a second reality apart from you. See, realizing that it's a movie does not change the plot of the movie. As far as the movie is concerned, it still goes on the way it is. There's a saying in Hindi, in Vedanta they say, "Gyan koi tod phod nahi karta hai." Knowledge does not change anything, does not destroy or build anything in this world. It reveals things as they are. It reveals things as not a second reality apart from you. This not second reality apart from you is what is meant by the unreality or falsity of the world. If you say, no, that doesn't seem unreal, let me call it real. Good. Swami Vivekananda would say, yes, lower truth to higher truth. That's the truth also. Does it violate the law of karma? Not at all. Like Vivekananda said, good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. But whosoever wears a form, wears the chain too. That form has been generated by a chain stretching back to a beginningless past. But then what is Vedanta? What's Vedanta saying? Vivekananda says, but far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. Know thou art that, sannyasi bold, say Om Tat Sat Om. What is that Atman ever free? You, the existence, the certain existence, the luminous existence, the limitless existence. That one. You are always free.
One small question. Is Jivan Mukti or self-realization written into somebody's prāraബ്dha, or is it Purushartha only?
If it's written into prāraब्dha, it's written into everybody's prāraબ્dha. It's for everybody. We will all attain it at one point or the other. And why should we not? It's our birthright. Not one birthright, many birthright. Every birth we have a right to it. Every birth is an opportunity to attain or to realize that we are Brahman.
Some are more chitta shuddhi and it happens quicker.
You're asking. I know you're asking a practical question.
Yeah.
So lots and lots of good karma is very helpful.
Right.
Lots and lots of. Consistently do good. Make an effort to avoid the sinful, the miserable, the small, the petty, and the negative. It's very helpful to have a good life in this world, and also very helpful for enlightenment, for God realization, spirituality. One Swami told me, if you have a lot of good karma in your past, your spiritual life will be easier, in the sense that things will come easily to you. Your meditation will be deeper, you will feel like serving people, you will have spontaneous faith and devotion in your heart. Vedanta and all will seem, yeah, it's true, it speaks to me. If it is not there, if you don't have good karma, but you're still trying to be spiritual, it'll be an upward struggle. It'll be difficult to get up in the morning, and it'll be difficult to serve others. Vedanta will seem theoretical and boring, and meditation will be just restless or sleepy. All of it will be difficult. Devotion will become mechanical and a struggle. Sri Ramakrishna put it this way. If you have a lot of bile in the system, it seems even sugar candy tastes bitter. But if you keep on taking it, after some time the sweetness of the sugar candy comes out. Similarly, doesn't matter if my karma is bad. We all have mixed karma. The fact is, we have come to this spiritual path. Let's take maximum advantage of it. Let's work at it.
Thank you.
Last question, because we have really run out of time.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
Hello. I'm possibly hearing a new definition of enlightenment this evening, and I want to make sure I'm clear, with a little sarcasm in it. I hear now that enlightenment is arrived at by us absolutely knowing that we are that radiant light and that we exist and there is there. Now, I started classes with you in 2016, and I think I've read everything a dozen times that Shankaracharya wrote, and always within his first two sutras he says, well, wait, even to go into this jnana yoga, no, you must have already said goodbye to your human desires. No human desires at all. In fact, you are willing to give up all your humanness, all your past, and it is gone. And it's not a fluctuating. It must be gone before you even start this journey. In fact, Shankaracharya even goes so far is that the only qualified candidate for this jnana yoga is one where he has not short-term stopped his thinking, all complete 100% 24/7 control of the mind, which means no thought. And then he goes on in his crestule of discrimination again and again and again and says there's no mind at all. None. That we have said monanasa, the mind is gone, and other terms that it's devoid. But I have not heard any of this. Does this mean that our monks no longer have to be renunciants, and we no longer have to give up our desires as humans, and we no longer have to give up the human mind, and Shankaracharya's opening of all of his writings is no longer relevant?
All it means is it's entirely relevant if you want Vedanta, Jnana Yoga to work for you and give you liberation and enlightenment right now, like what he's promising. You get this and you're liberated. That's what I seem to be saying. But it won't work without those initial conditions, without those cutoffs. But then you said, in that case, it's impossible. No, it's not impossible. You can make a beginning. As we walk down this path, all of us, we are fascinated, we are interested in this, and we are Brahman after all. What can stop us? Only what will happen is, if those initial conditions, especially what you said, vairagya, dispassion, this complete clearing of human, all of the attachments gone, you are absolutely 100% right. That it's scary, and if I had said that at the beginning, I would have emptied the hall. People would have run for their lives. But if you satisfy those conditions, what I said just now, or reading Shankaracharya just once, reading Shankaracharya once, listening to it from a teacher, would have freed you there and then. Because you are free. The veil is very light. However, without those conditions, if we do not have them to a certain level of excellence, if we have a smattering of desires, see, it's not that we are not dispassionate. You have taken time off in Los Angeles in the 21st century, and this time taking the trouble to come here and listen to a talk on an ancient philosophy. All of us have some clear degree of dispassion, some clear degree of rising above the mundane pleasures. You could be out partying, but you're here. So that much is there. That much control of the mind and body is there, that you sit quietly and listen without referring to your mobile phones every now and then. That much viveka is there. Viveka means the discernment of the eternal and non-eternal, that there is something here worth my time. So that much is there for all of us. But that's not enough. That has to be pushed to a much greater degree. Otherwise, this won't work. As one Swami put it beautifully, with that kind of dispassion of overcoming of desires, if you come to Vedanta, you will be enlightened. If without that you come to Vedanta with a mix of some worldly roots and clingings and all, you will feel, I really learned a cool philosophy, but didn't change my life. So Vivekananda says, I know where the shoe pinches. It's not in the philosophy. It's actually in those initial conditions, which is the hard, unglamorous work of spiritual life. Yeah, let's stop there. All right, thank you so much. We've gone beyond time.
Thank you so much, Revered Swami Sarvapriyananda Maharaj, for this stunning series of 3 lectures. I'm sure we'll all come away inspired and moved to engage more deeply in spiritual practice and cultivate those fourfold qualities.